Ineffabilis Deus, Mary is compared with Eve. Hence it is clear that in unanimous opinion of the Fathers that the most glorious Virgin, from whom he who's mighty has done great things, was resplendent with such an abundance of heavenly gifts, with such a fullness of grace, and with such innocence, that she is an unspeakable miracle of God, indeed the crown of all miracles, and truly the Mother of God, that she approaches as near to God himself as is possible for a created being, and that she is above all men and angels in glory. Hence, to demonstrate the original innocence and sanctity of the Mother of God, not only did they frequently compare her to Eve, while yet a virgin, while yet innocent, while yet incorrupt, while not deceived by the deadly snares of the most treacherous serpent, but they have also exalted her above Eve with a wonderful variety of expressions. Eve listened to the serpent with lamentable consequences. She fell from original innocence and became his slave. The most blessed Virgin, on the contrary, ever increased her original gift, and not only never lent an ear to the serpent, but by divinely given power she utterly destroyed the force of and dominion of the evil one. Biblical figures. Accordingly, the Fathers have never ceased to call the Mother of God the lily among the thorns, the land entirely intact, the Virgin undefiled, immaculate, ever blessed, and free from all contagion of sin. She from whom was formed the new Adam, the flawless, brightest, and most beautiful paradise of innocence, immortality, and delights planted by God himself and protected against all the snares of the poisonous serpent, the incorruptible wood that the worm of sin has never corrupted, the fountain ever clear and sealed with the power of the Holy Spirit, the most holy temple, the treasure of immortality, the one and only daughter of life, not of death, the plant not of anger, but of grace, through a singular providence of God, growing ever green, contrary to the common law, common as it does from a corrupted and tainted root, coming as it does from a corrupted and tainted root. Explicit affirmation. As if these splendid eulogies and tributes were not sufficient, the Fathers proclaim with particular and definite statements that when one treats of sin, the Holy Virgin Mary is not ever to be mentioned, for to her more grace was given than was necessary to conquer sin completely. They also declare that the most glorious Virgin was reparatrix of the first parents, the giver of life to posterity, that she was chosen before the ages, prepared for himself by the Most High, foretold by God when he said to the serpent, I will put enmities between you and the woman. Unmistakable evidence that she was crushed, the poisonous head, that she would crush the poisonous head of the serpent. And hence they affirm that the Blessed Virgin was, through grace, entirely free from every stain of sin, and from all corruption of body, soul, and mind, that she was always united with God, and joined to him by an eternal covenant, that she was never in darkness, but always in light, and that therefore she was entirely a fit habitation for Christ, not because of the state of her body, but because of her original grace. To these praises they have added very noble words, speaking of the conception of the Virgin. They testify that nature yielded to grace, and unable to go on, stood trembling. The Virgin Mother of God would not have conceived by Anna before grace would bear its fruits. It was proper that she be conceived as the firstborn, by whom the firstborn of every creature would be conceived. They testified too that the flesh of the Virgin, although derived from Adam, did not contract the stains of Adam, and that on this account the most blessed Virgin was the tabernacle created by God himself and formed by the Holy Spirit, truly a work in royal purple, adorned and woven with gold, which that new Bel-Silel made. They affirm that the same Virgin is and is deservedly the first and exceptional work of God, escaping the fiery arrows of the evil one, that she is beautiful by nature and entirely free from all stain, that her Immaculate Conception, she came into the world all radiant like the dawn, for it was certainly not fitting that this vessel of election should be wounded by the common injuries, since she, differing so much from the others, had only nature in common with them, not sin. In fact, it was quite fitting that as the only begotten has a Father in heaven, whom the seraphim extol as thrice holy, so he should have a mother on earth who would never be without the splendor of holiness. This doctrine so filled the minds and souls of our ancestors in the faith that a singular and truly marvelous style of speech came into vogue among them. They had frequently addressed the Mother of God as immaculate in every respect, innocent and verily most innocent, spotless and entirely spotless, holy and removed from every stain of sin, all pure, all stainless, the very model of purity and innocence, more beautiful than beauty, more lovely than loveliness, more holy than holiness, singularly holy, and most pure in soul and body, the one who surpassed all integrity and virginity, the only one who has become the dwelling place of all the graces of the most Holy Spirit, God alone excepted. Mary is more excellent than all, and by nature fair and beautiful, and more holy than the cherubim and seraphim. To praise her all the tongues of heaven and earth do not suffice. Everyone is cognizant that this style of speech has passed almost spontaneously into the books of the most holy liturgy and the offices of the Church, in which they occur so often and abundantly. In them the Mother of God is invoked and praised as the one spotless and most beautiful dove, as a rose ever blooming, as perfectly pure, ever immaculate, and ever blessed. She is celebrated as innocence never sullied, and as the second Eve who brought forth the Emmanuel. No wonder then that the pastors of the Church and the faithful gloried daily more and more in professing with so much piety, religion, and love this doctrine of the Immaculate Conception of the Virgin Mother of God, which, as the Fathers discerned, was recorded in the Divine Scriptures, which was handed down in so many of their most important writings, which was expressed and celebrated in so many illustrious monuments of venerable antiquity, which was proposed and confirmed by the official and authoritative teaching of the Church. Hence, nothing was dearer, nothing more pleasing to these pastors than to venerate, invoke, and proclaim with most ardent affection the Virgin Mother of God, conceived without original stain. Accordingly, from ancient times, the bishops of the Church, ecclesiastics, religious orders, and even emperors and kings have earnestly petitioned this apostolic see to define a dogma of the Catholic faith as dogma of the Catholic faith, the Immaculate Conception of the Most Holy Mother of God. These petitions were renewed in these our own times. They were especially brought to the attention of Gregory XVI, our predecessor of happy memory, and to ourselves not only by bishops, but by the secular clergy and religious orders, by sovereign rulers, and by the faithful. Mindful indeed of all these, and considering them most attentively with particular joy in our heart, as soon as we, by the inscrutable design of Providence, had been raised to the sublime chair of St. Peter, in spite of our unworthiness, and had begun to govern the universal Church, nothing had we more at heart, a heart which from our tenderest years has overflowed with devoted veneration and love for the Blessed Virgin, than to show forth her prerogatives in resplendent light. That we might proceed with great prudence, we established a special congregation of our venerable brethren, the cardinals of the Holy Roman Church, illustrious for their piety, wisdom, and knowledge of the sacred Scriptures. We also selected priests, both secular and regular, well trained in the theological sciences, that they should most carefully consider all matters pertaining to the Immaculate Conception of the Virgin, and make known to us their opinion.